The national chairman says he's not going to run again.
He decided
not to run again. I'm told the national organizer too, Nanabi says he's not going to be within the current
setup.
National
youth organizer.
Yes, Salam is the
as youth organizer.
Yeah, as youth organizer.
But he would like
the party to contest the party opens nomination. You know, they will show their face as they say to opens nomination. You know, they will show their face as they say to contest the various reviews, and I'm reliably informed that by end of May this month reviews, and I'm reliably informed that by end of May this month there will be a press conference to officially announce the number of the window for more amend majority of it is the portion of the constitution majority, so they believe that there's a new trend, so the party must head towards those particular trends, and so we'll see a lot of amendments. You remember towards those particular trends, and so we'll see a lot of amendments. You remember in 2019 or 18 there was a similar one, and the amendment and forge for the 2028 election.
Outside the MPP, there's been the issue of the Chief Justice.
The Chief Justice.
The committee which is sitting to investigate and hear the petition filed against the Chief Justice. We are told that today the committee began its work.
Yeah.
The 5-member committee chaired by Justice Palmer began its work.
Not in the petition or will reject them. And so a lot of Ghanaians are waiting to see in the petition or will reject them. And so a lot of Ghanaians are waiting to see the outcome of this particular probe and see where the direction of the country's judiciary will go.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting based on
check them. And so a lot of Ghanaians are waiting to see the outcome. The outcome of this particular probe and see where the direction of this particular probe and see where the direction of the country's judiciary will go.
Based on the fact that you by taking over the matter, we are all looking forward to see what the committee will do, and the committee's work is going to be solely based on the evidence produced by all parties in this matter. We wait to see. We are hoping that committee hearings and findings will not take that long.
Yeah.
We are hoping that they would do it quick, taking strong position.
Or which areas have had their DCs, MCs, which areas they are over if there's a need to revisit the issue of the election of MMDCs across the country. You know, this issue came up some years back during the tenure of President Nana Akufo-Addo. It was rejected, but then there's another conversation as to whether we should bring back this particular proposal to, you know, cure all this rejection and whatever that we are seeing in recent times. So, Fred, the debate has come. I was
all over again.
I was one of those people who supported the idea of an election of MMDCe on party lines. On party lines because we know the political affiliation of almost everybody who is gunning to be a DC or MCE. We shouldn't run away from it. Even in this local assemblyman election, we see some of these individuals, you know, campaigning on partisan lines. So I asked myself that who are we deceiving? We should just let this thing be politics as it's been all the time. And we shouldn't behave like Australia and hide as if we don't know politics or they don't do anything political about it. But these elections are purely politics and they go according to party lines. And I know political parties who sponsor some individuals, you know, to contest the various assemblymen and the rest. So I feel that we should go back or revisit this particular discussion. Let's do it on partisan line. And I'm sure we'll avoid this rejection and tension and accusations and counter-accusations that we've seen in recent time following the confirmation of the various metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives.
I agree with you, but you know, people who oppose this particular move make the argument that, look, this country has been polarized by both the NDC, between the NDC and the NPP.
And it's not going to stop anytime soon.
It's been polarized. The only place where we seem not to have that deep political influence is the local governance sector.
But it's happening there.
No, but it's not. It's happening there, but it's not that
on paper,
deep.
it's not happening.
It's not.
But
it's
if
not,
you turn the paper, it's
their
happening.
argument is that it is not that deep. It is not that deep. So why do you want to go back
and deepen
it? Right now, yes, we know that there are assembly members who are affiliated to the NDC or the NPP. But then in campaigning, you hardly hear them campaign on an NDC or an NPP-based ticket. So it keeps the places open. Now, the issue is not just as assembly members. The MMDCes, if we are not voting, if assemblymen are being voted for outside political lines, why should we come and vote for the person who will lead them or the chief executive of that particular district or municipality or metropolitan assembly to be a political person? That is the argument. The other issue is that, look, when you even look at our regular politics, campaigning and voting for MPs and presidential candidates, the amount of money spent by politicians during these elections, are we going to encourage the same thing?
Fred,
and you see that amount.
These assemblymen also spend money.
No, but Sami,
they also spend money to get elected.
I mean, they do spend money, but the amount of money which is spent cannot be compared to the ones for the national elections, the presidential, parliamentary. Yeah. Basically because it is on political lines. One, it starts from the election of the candidates in the constituency or in the district. Can you imagine that in a district, municipal, or metropolitan assembly, where the political parties will need to hold primaries? Look at the amount of money spent on primaries. You spend that money, now you need to look for money to come again to campaign to be elected as DC at the larger level. It's going to be a lot of money being spent. So it is the argument of people who disagree with the fact that we should elect these people based on political lines, that the moment we do that, we are opening ourselves up for so many things we'll not be able to control. We have been complaining about some we haven't been able to deal with, and we want to add more to it. So their issue is, look at the finances, look at the campaign finances, look at the investments put in these elections. Secondly, look at our communities and see how people engage themselves when it's not an NDC or an NPP thing. And let us elect these people, but elect them outside political lines. For me, as a person, I agree with you that these elections should be held on political lines. Because, when you hold these elections on political lines, what you are going to do is that you are going to increase public engagement and interest in our municipalities and districts. When you look at our local governance elections, you realize that a lot of times people are not interested. But the moment you introduce the partisan thing in it, the political parties are now given the opportunity to whip up support within the local level so that people would come out and vote. I agree with the fact that it should be on political lines, but there are also people who say, look, it's a bad thing. We are going to get into places we don't want to get to. We are going to polarize this country more, so it should end. But now let's go and see what is happening now. Now, it's not on political lines. The president appoints who he wants to be MMDCs. The president, as you said, has nominated a number of people to the various district and municipal assemblies. And this is what is happening. Let's start with the Greater Accra region. So the president nominated 29 people in the Greater Accra region. Out of the 29, we've had 25 people approved. 25 people approved. 4 of them have been rejected. The 4 which have been rejected include Shai Osudoku, the gentleman's name is Ignatius Godfrey Dodu, Ayawaso Central, Rudolph Wood Williams, Adan East, Kenneth Kano, and Ayawaso West, Michael Mensah. Just a day or two ago, we heard about the issue at Ablekuma North, where the nominee was rejected, and there was the accusation that after the rejection, there was a call for a new election, which is allowed. Yeah. Some people are alleging that they were locked up at a particular place, people who say they have affiliation to the MPP, say they were locked up and the election was held and the gentleman passed through. So that's what has been happening in
The
Accra.
similar happened in Wejagbawe too. The guy was rejected within 2 hours. He's been renominated.
He was renominated
He won.
And he won.
Yeah.
So in the Greater Accra region, 29 nominees, 25 approved, 4 have been rejected. We are not sure what will happen to these 4, but it's interesting to know Shai Osudoku, that's a very stronghold of the NDC.
Yeah.
So then it goes to tell you that the people within the party in the area are not happy with the nomination of this particular gentleman, because as compared to Ablekuma North, where you say, okay, it'll be a balanced place, there are people affiliated to the MPP and the NDC. In Shai Osudoku, we all know that Shai Osudoku is one of the strongholds of the NDC. So it's interesting to know how the people within the area, the assembly members and even party members think of this particular gentleman. Adan East, a similar thing, a stronghold of the NDC. They've also rejected their nominee. You go to Ayawaso West. Ayawaso West is quite interesting because you cannot say it's a stronghold of the NDC. That could be play either way.
Yeah.
So is it an issue of the candidate, or is it an issue of the fact that maybe the people who have been nominated are not reaching out to the various assembly members to sell out their plan for them? This is a Greater Accra region. Let's go to the Ashanti region. The Ashanti region is quite interesting. 41 nominated, 41 approved.
Okay.
2 are yet to have their elections. Asante Mampon and Echema Mamponia. These are the people who have been elected, who have been selected or nominated. It was quite interesting because in the Ashanti region, we're expecting a lot of rejections.
Because it's considered to be a stronghold
of the MPP. But that hasn't taken place. It means that there's something good happening there with the people who are campaigning and ensuring that these nominees get elected and approved by the assembly members. And we have our colleague from the Ashanti region, Hafiz Tinjani, on the line to give us an understanding of what is happening in the Ashanti region. In the Ashanti region, you know, previously, about a week ago, there were concerns about the fact that there was a large number of these nominees who were not of really Ashanti descent.
Yeah.
This became a topical issue on social media. I don't know how the government, the party has been dealing with it, but Hafiz has been there, he's been following it, and he would understand what is happening. Hafiz, 41 people nominated, 41 approved. What is happening in the Ashanti region?
Council, quickly, let me make this correction or this clarification. So, 41 have been selected or nominated, but all of them are yet to be confirmed. We have 18 so far. 18 so far have been confirmed in the districts, and so we have the districts like Bekwai, etc., From Plains, the Fija-Kwabri North, the Swami Municipality, the Fija-Kwabri South, Kwada also, Asokore Mampo, Boasi Municipal, Offensu Municipal, then the Old Tafo, as well as the Ahafano Southwest, Ahafano East, the Adansi South, the Adansi Asuka, the Amansia West, the Obuasi East, the Asokore Mampo, and the Asante Akim South, etc. East. So far, these are the areas that they have been confirmed, the nominees have been confirmed, but we've not had any rejection. And Council, if you ask me what is doing the magic for the numbers so far that have not been rejected, the Ashanti Region Minister, when the list came out, quickly the next day, he had to meet the nominees who sailed through into the president list of nominees, and he met them, had a meeting with them. So he told them to tone down on these jubilations. They shouldn't jubilate because that, in his wisdom, was going to mar the beauty of the unity in these areas. You know, when the list came up, people had talk of places like the Aswansi constituency, that is the Asokore Mampong municipality, where the chairman was also interested, the chairman of that constituency for the NDC was also interested in this position, and it was given to the research officer of the party in that constituency. So his people were not so happy about the turn of events. So the minister quickly met them and discussed issues with them, told them to go back and settle any scores within their respective areas. And the next day, he met the other people who were on the list, who went through the vetting, but could not make it for the list of the president. He also told them to exercise restraint and that they were going to have other opportunities in the party to work. So I would say this has done the magic, and the minister also dispatched some teams to the various districts to meet with stakeholders, including the assembly members for these particular areas, to sit with them and talk with them about how they can confirm some of these nominees of the president. So if you look at most of the areas, you realize that most of the nominees are scoring 100%. Others are getting 92%. Others are also getting 96% and 98%. So one can sit back and say that the regional minister has put out a strategy, and that's really worked.
Hafiz, as I mentioned, some few weeks ago, or somewhere last week, there were concerns about the actual origin of these people, most of the people nominated, whether they were people from true Ashanti origin. Because you recall that there were concerns about the fact that most of these people, a lot of these people, came from the northern descent. And this was becoming an issue for some of the people within the Ashanti region. Is this still an issue? How is that resolved? And how is the regional leadership dealing with this particular matter?
Well, so the concerns came up or stemmed from the fact that, party people, they want to increase their votes in the Ashanti region. And Ashanti is dominated, or the stronghold of the New Patriotic Party. So they think that getting someone from the Ashanti origin was going to work in tandem with the people within these areas to kind of bring development and also appreciate their votes and also their presence within the Ashanti region going into the 2028 general election. That was the broad thinking for these constituency officers and other party people who had these concerns. But others also believe that areas where you are seeing that some of these people are being nominated or are being nominated by the president, these are settler communities. So you look at a place like the Ahafua Southeast. This is a purely settler community where you have people migrating from the north to settle in these areas. And these people are increasing the votes of the National Democratic Congress in the region. You look at a place like the Jura-Setudumase area. This is an area where you have settler communities. So for many also, they think that you should have someone who is from the north, who understands the dynamics of these people or this place, so that he can work with people who live there, because they are the majority in these areas. But others also have different view of getting or scoring a political point in these areas because they want to have someone who belongs to the Ashanti, who comes from the Ashanti region, not someone who is from the northern region. So, like I said, the regional minister, as part of strategies or measures to maybe tackle or address this, dispatch some teams to these areas, and these were part of the solutions or the problems the minister was seeking to solve. That was why he dispatched the team to the areas to kind of speak to stakeholders who had these concerns. So they consulted the chiefs, the party people, the assembly members in these areas, and we had this coming down, and they understood, and that is why you are seeing that the assembly members are participating. But notwithstanding, we still have issues in some of the areas that the leadership of the regional party people are trying to solve, and the regional minister.
Hafiz, finally, before you go, with the number of people left to be confirmed, do you have any idea when these confirmations will take place and when is expected to end?
Okay, so the confirmations have been scheduled into phases. So the first phase has been done. That was last week, and this week the second phase also continued. So from Monday, we are going to see the continuation of the third phase of this confirmation, and that has been grouped into phases, like I said. So the regional minister is still talking to the aggrieved parties. So as and when they see that these issues are completely resolved and they know that they can move in and do the confirmation, then the regional minister will alert the coordinating directors at these assemblies and also the assembly members, so they can go ahead to confirm. So a place like Asakarimampo, the confirmation was done out of the 40 list that came. The confirmation was done on a Saturday, and because of the issues, they didn't want these issues to travel into the next week or the following week, so that they are not able to do the confirmation. So it was done on a Saturday. So anyone who would have had a concern coming into the following week, the confirmation has been done and the MC has been sworn in.
Thank you very much, Hafiz Tijani, Ashanti Regional Correspondent. Sami, you heard Hafiz, the politics, the kind of engagements within the Ashanti region, and how they are finding ways to resolve it to ensure that these nominees are confirmed by the assembly members. What would you say?
It's always expected that when these things come, especially when you are in a stronghold of your opposing political party or political opponent, you should do background work. You should really do the background work. And looks like the Ashanti Regional Minister has really done well, because from the statistics Hafiz was given, looks like majority of these people are getting confirmed, even though you expect some huge rejections within these areas, but yet we are not seeing them. And I feel like he's doing a good job, and more of this lobbying will take place. So in areas when I see a nominee rejected, I ask myself why they didn't do the lobbying well, they didn't do the background checks well, because before your name comes up, there's time for you for proper lobbying before assembly members will go and do their confirmation. So I believe he's done a good job, and if he continues this way, the 41 as we're expecting may all go through. You're still watching The Situation. We're coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll do the Greater Accra region and speak to someone who has a better understanding of local governance setup in this country.
Calling all farmers, agribusinesses, and innovators, this is your chance to shine. Channel One TV invites you to exhibit at AgriFair 2025, one of Ghana's largest agriculture exhibitions. From Friday 20th to Sunday the 22nd of June, the A4 Sutherland Children's Park in Accra will come alive with the very best from Ghana's agribusiness sector. Are you a farmer with fresh produce of any kind? Be it crops, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture, or you're a supplier of agro inputs and processing machinery? This is your platform to connect with the world. AgriFair 2025 is more than an exhibition. Showcase your fresh produce, share your expertise and experience, and grow your business. So, to all farmers with fresh produce, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture products, come, sell, network, and expand your business. AgriFair 2025, where culture meets innovation. Register now to secure your spot. Call us on 0205 973 973. Come one, come all. Enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices. And treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Great taste, great value. Don't miss out. The AgriFair 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 City FM and is proudly sponsored by Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, and Development Bank Ghana. In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensa.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensa.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
You're welcome back. You're still watching The Situation. We're coming to you live from our studio here in Crown. Situation must, we talk politics. And today we are discussing the MMDAs and the MMDCs across the country. If you know, President Mahama has been nominating individuals to occupy various positions within the assemblies as MDCs across the country. And we've seen some few confirmations and few rejections. Just a while ago, we spoke to Ashanti Regional Correspondent Hafiz Tijani, giving us an update in the Ashanti region. We'll come back here to the Greater Accra region, where my colleague, Ni Ayikwe Okain, has been with the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, across the length and breadth of the region to, the confirmation centers for the various nominees, nominated by the president. And there have been some few rejections as well within the Greater Accra region. Let's speak to Ni Ayikwe Okain, who's been with the minister in recent time for these confirmation. Ayi, thank you very much for your time. Just a quick one. Which areas have you been so far? Which ones were confirmed and which ones were rejected?
All right, so Sammy, I would say that so far all the 29 metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies in the Greater Accra region have had their confirmation processes conducted, and so far 25 have been approved or confirmed by the assembly members, and we have about 4 that are yet to be approved. So currently that is the situation. The Greater Accra Regional Minister gave the indication that these nominees who were rejected would have their nominations reappointed, and then they would be taken through the confirmation process, God willing, next week.
Were we told reasons why they were rejected?
So, Sammy, if you have an interaction with some of these assembly members, they do not give you any concrete reasons. Some believe that, that candidate is not their preferred candidate because some of the shortlisted candidates were also hopeful that they would emerge, as the nominated individuals who would stand by these MMDCs. Once doesn't
Hello, Ayi.
The allegations
Hello, Ayi.
out there were also of the. Can you hear me, Sammy? Hello, Sammy, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ayi.
Yes, so I'm saying that when you have interaction with some of these leaders, they are saying that haven't had proper engagement from some of these nominees who are standing as MMCEs. Others also feel that their candidates were not nominated by the president, and so the allegations that we had from some people on the grounds were that there were sabotage here and there, undermining of the nominees by the president. So if you would recall, there were instances we had the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oku, issuing caution to some of these
Hello, Ayi. I'm sure Ayi's line is not really the best. I'm sure we'll end the conversation, and when we establish a better, contact to Ayi, we'll speak to him on what has been the regional minister, the Greater Accra Regional Minister has been up to as far as the nomination of persons for various assemblies in the Greater Accra region is concerned. Let's go back to Zoom and speak to Dr. Richard Fiadumo, who is the president of the Chamber of Local Governance. He has a better understanding of local governance in this country and what is going on in recent times as far as the nomination of these individuals are concerned. Doc, thank you very much for your concern. From where you sit, you feel these rejections, of individuals as, heads of the various assemblies is something normal. We should go by it. Hello, Doc. We can hardly hear you. We can hardly hear you. Dr. Fiadumo, can you hear us? Looks like the internet is not our best of friends today, because we are challenged with Ayi and we are having a similar challenge with Dr. Fiadumo as far as the connection is concerned. We are wanted to speak to him, in recent developments as far as the MMDCes, and the nomination, rejection, and confirmation and the rest are concerned. But Fred, looks like we are having a terrible connection to Doc. But whilst our technicians try to, reconnect him, Fred, take us to the central region.
Yeah, so Sammy, let's come back to the number of nominees, those approved and those rejected. We go to the central region where we have 24 nominated MMDCs. 22 have been approved, 2 have been rejected. We go to the eastern region. The eastern region has 33 nominated MMDCs. 29 of them have been approved. 4 are yet to have their elections. So the areas where they are yet to have their elections include the New Jabin North, Ekrapim North, Afram Plains North, and Afram Plains South. These districts are yet to have elections to approve or disapprove their the nominated persons. We now move to the northern region. The northern region has 18 nominated MMDCs. 16 of them have been approved. 2 are yet to be nominated. And in areas where they are yet to have these people nominated is Mandai and Tatale. This is for the northern region. We go to the western region. The western region had 14 people nominated. Out of the 14 of all the 14 have been approved.
In western region?
In the western region.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So you call this 100% mark, right?
They've all been approved. And you see, sometimes we try to go back to get an understanding of why these nominations are being approved, why there are no issues. And my mind will just quickly take me back to the 2024 elections and look at the performance of the NDC within that particular region and how they were able to sweep majority of the seats over there. It looks like there's some kind of goodwill for the party within the western region. So if you see 14 people nominated and these 14 people also all being approved, then it gives you a sense that the people of the western region are now more open to the NDC. There's a lot of goodwill for the NDC within the western region. Let's go to the northeast region. The northeast region has 6 nominated MMDCs and 6 approved MMDCs. The northeast region is a region of Dr. Bawumia.
The 2024 presidential candidate of the NPP.
You also look at the number of seats the NDC won there and the number of seats the NPP won there, and you realize that still the NDC performed quite well within the northeast region. So this comes also as no surprise. Let's go to the Savannah region, the home region of the president, who is actually making the nominations. He nominated 7 people. Before the nomination, we had issues
With
from
Bole-
the Bole
Bole
where
area,
his
yeah,
constituency,
yeah.
where he hails
Where
from.
NDC that threatened to go and
Yes,
burn his home.
Where people threatened,
Yeah.
threatened the MP, threatened the president. They managed to resolve the problem. They nominated someone. Everybody within that region has been approved by the assembly members of the region. So yes, that is the Savannah region. We go to Bono. Bono, 12 nominated, 12 approved. Also quite similar, following the trend. Following the trend, and I'll still not go past what happened in 2024.
Yeah.
I'll still not go past what happened in December 2024. You can still tell that the NDC still has some goodwill within the country, in the entire country, where the people are still open to the party to do what they want to do. They are giving the party a chance and the president a chance to work. You go to the Bono East region, 11 nominated persons, 12 approved, 11 approved. This is 100% like you would like to put it. Now we go straight to the Ahafo region. 6 nominated MMDCs, 6 approved. So you realize Bono East, Ahafo, they all approved the president's nominees, and they are you didn't really hear a lot of issues with persons who have been nominated, who were nominated within that particular region. It goes to tell us a lot that when you deal with the people well, the local people well, there are a lot of times you wouldn't have challenges when it comes to getting some of your things approved or accepted by the local people. But you see, Sami, one of the things which worries me is the fact that, you see, we are getting these people nominated, but are these people the
right people for the job? That's the question.
The right fix for the jobs which they are being nominated to do? You ask yourself, some of them are in party people who the party base believe or support. But when you come to our localities, that's the most important place in terms of development.
Fred, I'll ask you to hold on there. I'm sure we have a better connection. This time we're on the telephone to speak to Dr. Richard Fiadomo, who is the president of the Chamber of Local Governance, to speak to him on these developments. Doc, thank you very much for your time. I believe there's a better connection this time around.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
So I was asking before, that trip, that indeed, if these rejections are what we are seeing, is it surprising?
Yeah, thank you very much. For me, I am not surprised if a nominee is rejected. Neither am I surprised if a nominee is rejected. If you look at Article 246 of one of Ghana's constitution, it mandates the president to nominate person for a particular day. The same constitutional provision mandates assembly members by two-thirds majority present and voting to confirm a president nominee by two-thirds majority. So the constitution also envisages that it is possible and use not get two-thirds. So when it comes to the model standing orders of the district assembly, it gives room that if a candidate goes to get above two-thirds majority and up to 100%, he or she is automatically successful. If he gets less than two-thirds majority, there's a window of opportunity for that nominee to be voted on again within 10 days. That provision has been made. What it is that if the assembly members confirm, they have exercised their constitutional right. If they reject, they have done so. The challenge we are having with respect to some of the violent situations is that some regional ministers have taken this whole confirmation process as a welcome, to the extent that if the nominee is not confirmed, it's a disgrace to them, it's a disgrace to the president. So they do all kinds of things to make sure that confirmation is got. But assembly members, for Christ's sake, are not children. They are adults who have been voted and have a conscience. They know who is best fit to come and help the assembly to grow and work with them. So if in their personal considered opinion they think that the president nominee falls out short of the obligations that have to be done for occupying the position, they go ahead and check. And we shouldn't make too much noise about it. Sometimes what we are also seeing, like you said in some of the comments, is that you have a situation whereby some MPs do not like the president. So because they do not like the president nominee, they have an upper hand over the president nominee because they have been with assembly members for some time. So sometimes they go underground to get the assembly members to, as it were, to test the president on. It becomes an issue. So when those kinds of political undertones or undercurrents come in, then the regional ministers also getting to know that there are undercurrents, then it is the government appointees who suffer because they can change at any time. So for me, I think that if a confirmation is gotten, it's good for local government. If a rejection is also the case, it is good for local government. If a nominee is rejected, it is not a fait accompli matter. He or she has an opportunity to go a second round, some candidate go a third round. The president, if he feels that his nominee is being rejected, can re-nominate that person again. So for me, I think that we should allow the processes to continue. MMDCe confirmation to between the president and assembly members, and we should not allow any third party to come. That is what it is.
Look, the conversation has come up again for the need to have, an election of MMDCs. The process started some years back, but it was truncated due to several reasons. Fred and I were discussing that there's a need to bring back this conversation and forge ahead with the election. I'm sure when we do this election, we will not see all this rejection and the confrontation and the little, fights that we see within the various assemblies. You think we should go back to that conversation and possibility bring that back?
Yes, for me, I agree 100% that MMDCe is going for it. Thankfully, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC had it in their manifesto that if God wills, we get the mandate of the people to rule the country. They were going to elect MMDCe. As I speak, a committee, legislative review committee, has been commissioned to make sure that they look at the act, look at the constitution, and they look at all the consequential amendments that have to be made to make sure that MMDCs are going to be elected. That committee was inaugurated, I think, months ago. So the processes leading to election of MMDCs has actually started. That is the stage we need to get to, because once elections come up and a person wins, nobody will come and say that person is not a justice, because it was a universal adult of that person. So going forward, that is what the case. But you see, the kind of local governance system we've run from 1968 up to now, if we say we want to elect MMDC, it will bring about a lot of amendments to our constitution, the 1990 constitution, and indeed a lot of acts that are also associated with the local governance system. So, for example, we have local government service. That local government service employs people in Accra and send them to South Africa. That local government service employs people and send them to Texas. That local government service employs people and send them to the city. But now, if you go ahead to elect a chief executive, are you now going to sit in Accra and dictate who that chief executive, who now has executive power to work with? So I think that yes, the election is good, but we should not rush it, because it will have a lot of consequences if we go ahead with that, without making a lot of amendments to our 1990 constitution and indeed the acts and other relevant acts that govern local governance. So the elections, I'm sure it will happen before His Excellency John Dramani Mahama comes here.
Doc, thank you very much for your time. Dr. Richard Fiadomo, who is the president of the local government, the Chamber of Local Governance here in Ghana, bringing us some perspective as far as this particular conversation is concerned. Fred, he also agrees that we should, elect our MMDCs. He agrees with the conversation that we should bring it back, and the challenge he mentioned is the various amendments we need to do in respect of the constitution and the various acts, governing the local governance setup in this country, which I feel will be cumbersome. Or you think we are already in a constitutional review process, so we should...
What his view, or what he just brought to us, is very, very important. We really need to think about it, especially, like he says, you have a local government service where it's seated here in Accra. So you are practicing a decentralized system, but you have a centralized system which has to engage in employment and transfers and payments and everything. Now you want to amend your constitution to allow people to elect their own leaders. When you allow people to elect their own leaders, you are giving them executive authority. giving them executive authority, are you still going to influence their decision from the top?
Yeah.
How is government going to now channel resources from these local governments to these local government assemblies, to these assemblies? Will they come from the top? Is government still going to take some money from them? You understand? So there are so many things.
It's a cumbersome process.
There are so many things we need to look at. And as you said, this constitutional review process may help us to relook at it, rework it, and ensure that we have a better working local government system which would benefit all of us.
Fred, thank you. Fred Jabano, I am Sami. We brought you the Situation Room that came to you live from our studio here in Accra. So we meet again. May the good Lord be with us all.